Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Marc Wheeler, and I am the co-founder of InsurTech Denver. And this is part of a new series that we've created. This is a 15-minute interview series with InsurTech executives brought to you by InsurTech Denver. This is a unique series in that there are no edits and no do-overs. So we have with us today Ryan Mathisen, co-founder and CEO of Glovebox. Ryan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Marc. We appreciate your time and everything you put into InsurTech Denver. It's great.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you. Hey, listen, in the past 18 months, it's just been amazing to see all the things that have happened at Glovebox. There's growth, partnerships, fundraising. I think you've touched on all the bases for a startup business. And for those of folks that are in the audience today that are not familiar with Glovebox, tell us about the company and where you guys are at.
Yeah, no, and you're right. We have kind of touched on a little bit of everything. It's the spice of life, right? With a startup. Glovebox in itself, just to tell you who we are an independent agent platform for agencies to offer their clients to help with self-service. And that is really the foundation of our product. Obviously, we have kind of scaled it out from there, but that's really our core, is to help agents offset their service by allowing their clients to self-service. So in a nutshell, that is our platform. It really came out of our experience in the agency channel. People think we're crazy. We took the jump from owning a large agency and kind of being on the golf course all the time to say, hey, we don't like golf and we obviously don't like money anymore. So we want to jump over to the tech side, and we're gluttons for pain. And so that's what we did. We were agents, and then we kind of jumped over to the tech just because we're so passionate about helping independent agents. And that's really why we're here.
That's a great story. I remember talking to you guys, gosh, well over a year ago. When you were trying to sort through it, and we were talking about the industry and what was going on. So, congratulations on the growth that you've had with the company. It's really great to see. Now you have a national footprint, right? No boundaries?
No, we're in the lower 48s. I mean, we could do Alaska and Hawaii. It might be a little tough. I'm not even sure the nuances there yet, but there's plenty of fish in the lower 48. And so, yeah, we facilitate an experience for any agency in the lower 48 states of the U.S.
Perfect. Now, listen, with all the growth that you've seen and in all the areas that you've had to touch to get to where you're at today, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you face just as a company?
It's a great question. We're in a weird dynamic right now, and we have been for a while, where there's this divide between independent agencies and the independent carriers. And I think everybody has an agenda. Of course, we're all in business. We all want to make money. We're not a charity. The independent agencies have a way that they would like to operate, and carriers have a way that they would like to operate. And our biggest challenge by far is the fact that our product merges the two together. It's finding common ground that everybody can kind of agree upon, and say, okay, we understand that your client wants to service this way, and we're willing to facilitate that experience. And so we've had to shift a mindset of a lot of people, and we still are. It's still an uphill battle for us because it is a new concept that we are building. But that has been our biggest challenge, is kind of merging agencies and what they want, and trying to appease carriers and what they want, and kind of trying to create an ecosystem that facilitates and helps both parties in the industry so that we can help better serve the client, which is the goal.
Sure. Well, when you have those conversations, what kind of pushback are you getting? Where are they pushing back on? Is there a theme that you've seen that you have to kind of overcome?
We are the epitome, Marc, of chicken and the egg. The agents are like, hey, come back to us when you have our carriers. And the carriers are like, hey, come back to us when you have the agencies. And so it's like, for so long now, we've played this back and forth of trying to get agencies on board, trying to get carriers on board. It's a little bit of footing at a time. Right now we launched last March officially. We have over 200 agencies live now. We've got about 50,000 users on the platform. And so carriers are now starting to say, okay, well, our agencies want it. If I go to a carrier and say, look, we have 70 mutual agencies that want this, that's really helped put the conversation forward. But I think we're always going to run into the barriers of carriers having distribution first mindset. And that's been a challenge for us of helping them understand why service and retention is hugely valuable and underserved in our space. And so the battle continues.
I hear you on that. Well, it's been an interesting time too, of course, with COVID.
Yeah.
And has that environment, being remote and all of that, has that been a help or a hindrance to you as you've grown your business?
It was tough to call because we were kind of small last year. We were still kind of nimble, run and gun. I would say the agency's mindset, as I'm sure you're not surprised about, they kind of got a shock to their system of like, oh my God, like we've been putting off technology for so long. We need to start, integrating something into our agency that helps facilitate and streamlines processes. Because if people are going to work from home, we need to have ways to keep our culture and our, customer experience intact. And so we have seen a lot of agencies that have really, for lack of a better term, sprinted to try to figure out how they can innovate to facilitate what COVID did. But for us, it really didn't change our business model. We were always in a scramble kind of mode. So whether we're doing it, in my laundry room or at the office or wherever it is that I got relegated to, we're running and gunning.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I understand that. It was a culture shock for a lot of businesses to come around, but I think it's going to be even more interesting to see what's going to happen post-COVID.
Yeah.
And how carriers and other companies are addressing this issue of remote and all of that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. When you're starting a business and growing a business, there are a lot of factors that come into play. So how much do you think your growth was impacted by luck and timing?
Honestly, I think our timing is great. If I could have looked, a bird's eye view at a period of 10 years, I think we're right on track with where we should be. I think our product is very now. I think it's very, maybe even a bit late. I think agencies have wanted our product. So from a timing perspective, I think we're right on par. Like anything else, I'm an impatient person. We don't move as fast as we want. I don't get the access as fast as I want. Our dev team doesn't move fast enough. We want to create faster. We want to get our product better. Agents tend to be impatient, and I don't blame them. And so I think our timing in the market is great. I think our speed is always something that I would love to see, come to fruition faster. But I've learned that, hey, any good business worth building takes time. So I just have to kind of sit back and try to, sidetrack my mind with other things. So I'm not focused on what we're not doing quick enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure luck a little bit played into that. Sometimes you create your own luck, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The more people you talk to, the more lucky you become. So yeah, we're kind of odd. We're an odd tech firm because none of us know technology. So we're sales guys. Like we know how to sell, we know how to market. So we are very good at outpunting our coverage when it comes to selling versus our tech. So I think that'll be the way it is for quite a while.
Got it. Well, let me ask you something that's kind of related to that. When you're growing a company, you're going through that rapid growth, and then you have external factors like COVID coming into play. How do you hold on to your core values for the company?
It was easier for us because we have so much personal money invested. So
that's a motivator.
And my wife was not saying, well, why aren't you home at 5? It's like, no, why are you home at 5? We have a lot of our personal money invested in this company. And I think our inner circles, they're rooting for us and they are pushing us. So I think that's helped a lot. We haven't gotten the pressures of, why are you at, the kids' soccer practice at 5:30? They understand that, hey, we got to pay our dues. So we've had really good support from our families and our inner circles and people like you, in the local industry here in Denver, have been uber supportive in our growth. So it's not been too bad. I think we've dealt with it pretty well.
Good. Yeah, it seems, in that startup mode, you're chasing a lot, which really leads me to the next question, which is, thinking about entrepreneurship and the increasing demands on your time. How do you balance being a founder, a CEO, a husband, a father, a brother, a friend, all
Yeah.
those other commitments that you have. How do you find
Yeah.
that balance?
I'm really lucky because my group of friends, by and large, are all entrepreneurs. I don't really have many friends that are working in a 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
I've got friends that are all growing their own businesses as well. So they understand, they're in growth mode as well. Um, I don't really consider myself a CEO other than title on a business card. We've got our team here, and we're all reliant on one another. We all have expectations, and I think we're all accountable to the team. So I don't ever overwhelm my mind with saying, "Oh my God, I'm the CEO. I need to act this way. I need to, manage people." That's not how we operate. We're a team atmosphere. I make mistakes, they make mistakes, and we learn and we move on. So the pressures haven't. We don't put any internal pressures on ourselves. We want to go as big as the industry wants us to go. We want to create what the industry needs, and wherever that lands us, I think we'll be satisfied with. So,
Oh, that's good. That's a great approach to be able to take in looking at the business and
yeah.
talking about the growth side of it too in the marketplace. Have you found it difficult to find qualified individuals, whether from a tech side or a sales side or insurance side, whatever it may be? How has the market been for hiring folks?
Hiring's tough. Hiring is hard. Especially on the development side. Developers are really, really hard to come by. Technical people are few and far between. So that is something that has not been easy. We're fortunate enough that our CTO is amazing. He was very hard to get. He actually told us to pound sand the first time we brought the idea to him. And he was actually a friend of a friend. And he came back to us and kind of asked us a little bit more about the business and kept inquiring. And then finally he's like, "All right, guys, let's, see what this is about." But hiring other designers and engineers and, general developers, it's tough. I mean, we've got a team in Denver, a team in San Diego. I've got a design team in the Ukraine. I've got a couple of designer or coders in the UK. And then we have an Android team out of Pakistan. So we're reaching, to try to find talent to build the product.
Yeah, I think that's becoming more and more the norm.
Yeah.
With being able to reach talent and do things internationally and
Yeah.
go to where the skill sets are, right? You're
Yeah.
not restricted by geography, you're not restricted by a building or four walls or whatever. I
No.
had a conversation today with a group that are in InsurTech over in Africa,
Wow.
and it's amazing what they're doing
Yeah.
in trying to share ideas and they take a different perspective on the industry, which I think only adds value to what we're trying to do when I'm trying to do it,
Absolutely.
helping folks as well.
Yeah. And then we also were lucky enough. I mean, we hired a 26-year veteran from Chubb,
Yeah.
so she was at Chubb for 26 years. That is a long time to be at a carrier. And, she all of a sudden decided she wanted to go work for an insurtech startup. So we were lucky enough to bring her on board. So yeah, it's been entertaining to say the least.
I can imagine. Well,
Yeah.
as you do a little bit of a reflection and look in the rearview mirror, what advice would you have, for someone looking to start a business, particularly in insurtech today?
It's probably pretty typical of what I would recommend. It's probably not something that everybody hasn't heard before, but know your product somewhat. You'll never have it exactly in your mind the way you want. Things
Right.
adjust and you change to the market, but overall, know your core product, know your audience, understand who you're marketing to, who's going to pay the bill. And then from a personal perspective, don't let the glamorized posts on LinkedIn and everybody raising capital sway you into thinking that it's a luxury lifestyle, because it in fact is not. It is, long hours and low reward up to this point, and you got to be okay with that. And you have to not get too highs on the high and not too low on the lows. You got to stay pretty neutral. And I think the final thing is persistence. Persistence has always gotten me to where I wanted to be in business, whether it was on the agency side or in technology. I truly believe the people that make it in business are the ones that just don't quit. They don't know when to say no. And if you don't have that, this is probably not for you. But if you are someone that, hey, you can get through 100 no's to get to one yes and keep moving forward, then maybe you can make it. So that's my advice. Don't quit. Persistence is everything.
Well, I think that's great advice, and that's a common theme when you talk to entrepreneurs like yourself.
Yeah.
And that drive and the persistency and faith in what they're trying to do, and getting everybody excited around and to come along with them.
We're just dumb enough to not say no. I think that's what it is.
There we go. Yeah. Well, that's a great lead into our next part. This is always a fun part for us. This is, just a series of questions I want to throw at you, so folks can get a little bit of understanding of who you are outside of kind of the corporate CEO role. Yeah. So here we go. What do you do to escape? Either guilty pleasure, mindless activity. What is it?
Guiltless pleasure.
And do you want to share what that?
No. No.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll move on.
I train MMA. I love it. So that's what I do.
All right. So when watching sports, college or professional, or not so much?
College basketball, professional football, and UFC.
There we go. All right. So Saturday night beverage, are you craft beer, wine, distilled, non-alcohol, something other than that?
Yeah, so I take a nice route. I start with beer and then I end with a nice classic whiskey or scotch. So I kind of wind the night down. Yep.
Well, I like that. That's a great way to start. Now, do you plan to go to a movie theater this summer or take your kids?
I've gone to the movies twice in the past 3 weeks. I took my son to see Back to the Future in theaters and it was awesome.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, what a great experience. I haven't done it yet. Yeah. I got a gift for Christmas that I can rent a theater. Nice. So we're getting a group of about 20 of us together. We're going to go to a show one night.
Yes, so awesome.
I think that would be fun. Yeah.
Great to go back.
Now, is there one meal that you prepare for your family?
I make a bomb street taco between you and me. Like I am very good at making street tacos. So, if InsurTech Denver needs a caterer, I can come make street tacos. I do shrimp, chicken, the whole nine. So,
all right, we may take you up on that one. And then a final question for you. Favorite Sunday morning breakfast?
So we have a tradition at my house. I always make my kids pancakes on Sunday mornings. So there you go. Every single Sunday morning we wake up and they say, "Where are the pancakes?" So
I love it. Yeah. Oh, that's terrific. I like it a lot. Well, listen, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for your time today, Ryan. It's been great for you sharing and getting people to understand the business a little bit better and getting to understand you a little bit better. So we really appreciate it. Continued success with the business. We'll look forward to hearing more.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. You got it. Take care.